Looking live once again at Washington this morning. U.S. President Joe Biden marking his 100 days in the White House with a new message to Americans and using his first speech to Congress last night to tell them their country is on the move again.
Madam Speaker, the President of the United States.
Like other presidential traditions during his first 100 days in the White House, this one was constrained by the pandemic and security concerns after the January 6th riot. Biden walked through the doors stormed by the mob on that day into an echoing, empty-looking chamber. Just about 200 people in attendance, not the usual packed house of lawmakers, Supreme Court justices, military commanders, and presidential guests. Biden did have a history-making first. There they were, two women leaders in places of prominence, Vice President Kamala Harris and Speaker Nancy Pelosi, greeting him and sitting behind him for the duration of his 65-minute address. He heralded American resiliency in the face of the pandemic and political crisis.
We've stared into the abyss of insurrection and autocracy, pandemic and pain. And we, the people, did not flinch.
That is just one short excerpt of, as I said, a 65-minute address that our Washington correspondent Alex Panetta has been analyzing for us live with us this morning. And we always appreciate Alex's journalism after one of these moments. Good morning, Alex.
Good to be here.
You know, talking about investment, once-in-a-generation investment, what Joe Biden was talking about last night has been called transformative. What did you hear in his message that really speaks to the return of the role of government?
Yet another trillion-dollar plan. So he's already passed a $1.9 trillion rescue package, a pandemic bill. He's proposed another couple of $1 trillion in infrastructure spending to accelerate the transformation to clean technology. And this is another proposal that will be close to another $2 trillion. And this is he's calling it the American Families Plan. And what it would do is provide free access to community college. It would provide universal pre-kindergarten for 2 years and expand access to public health care. The healthcare details are a bit unclear, but it would expand healthcare access.
So, and that, is there anything in particular you want from the actual address that illustrates that?
Sure. Well, so what I thought was really interesting is his ode to government. And I called it kind of like an anti-Reagan speech. 40 years ago to the day, on April 28, 1981, Ronald Reagan walked into that chamber and tried to convince Congress to shrink the role of government. He succeeded. Government cut taxes, it cut welfare spending. And last night, Joe Biden extolled government. He said government helped build the Transcontinental Railroad, the interstate highway system, the internet, landed people on the moon, vehicles on Mars, and rolled out vaccines at a record pace. Let's have a listen.
Well, it's time to remember that we, the people, are the government. You and I. Not some force in a distant capital, not some powerful force that we have no control over. It's us. It's we, the people. In another era, when our democracy was tested, Franklin Roosevelt reminded us, in America, we do our part. We all do our part. That's all I'm asking, that we do our part, all of us.
So listening into all of that and, again, proposing this expansive change, what is he going to need to do and who is he going to have alongside to make those changes, Alex?
Well, I mentioned Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan had something that Joe Biden doesn't, which is help from his political opposition. I saw a stat the other day that it blew my mind, that roughly 95% of Democrats in the Senate voted to pass the opposing president's signature legislation on tax cuts. That's mind-boggling. That would never happen today. So what Biden's going to have to do is find a way around the simple reality of American politics, is which you need some opposition support to pass things in the Senate. And my story that you alluded to today has got lays out 4 paths by which he can do that. None of these paths is easy. All are possible, but he's going to have to figure out which one he's going to take if he wants to pass this expansive agenda.
Try negotiating, use budget reconciliation, weaken the Senate filibuster. It is all there, as you say, the pathways to ending the gridlock. Alex, thank you so much, and what an incredible bookend, 40 years to the day between those Reagan and Biden speeches. Thank you for the time today, and I will direct people to our website to read your analysis in more detail. Again, as Alex says, Biden the anti-Reagan. His speech to Congress calls for the era of more government. It's at CBCNews.ca.